So we were able to, using the Metasploit framework, create a connection to our target machine and start a shell. It was very rudimentary, but it gave us unrestricted access into that system. We know this because when I said, hey, who am I on this system? And this is not Ubuntu, all right? This is what the prompt looks like when I'm on Ubuntu. It says pentest at Kali. This doesn't say that, all right? There's no prompt here. We'll look at creating a prompt in a minute. So this is root access into a system. We're going to stop that right now. We're going to hit Control-C, and it's going to ask us to end that session. We hit Y for yes and enter, and it will end that session for us. So if we're having another attack, we could start another instance here. We can open up a new tab. There's a little plus sign we can use right here, but we're going to continue to use this existing session. We don't need the Unreal IRC exploit. We really only need one exploit to go forward in our attack. So we're going to end that one, and we're going to start a new one. Another service that we discovered when we were doing our initial scan was the vsftpd exploit. And if you were to research this, and let's actually research this one so you can see what I'm talking about when we keep talking about researching, or to actually do some research this time. So we click on the icon that looks like the world with a little pointer on it. And if you hover your mouse on top of it, it'll indicate that it is a web browser. We open it up and it opens up Firefox, which is fine. A lot of hackers actually prefer Firefox because it allows us to more easily manipulate certain things on websites, more easily than browsers like Chrome or Edge. Regardless of all of this, we're going to go to Google. Google finds Google, which is fine. And we are going to research vsftp. And right away, we have vsftp234. Because this is set up on a hacker system, the first thing it finds, vsftpd234 exploit. And when we click on that, it gives us all kinds of examples of how to realize this exploit. And that's what we're going to do. And it even gives us the instructions right here. Now, we're not going to do everything exactly like this, but this is exactly the kind of activity that pen testers engage in. I do a scan, I found something, I research it. Are there any vulnerabilities? Yes. How do I exploit it? No? Okay, well, let's see if I can't make a vulnerability, which is unfortunately out of scope for today's conversation. Okay, so I'm going to do a lot of the instructions that are right here. But as I said before, I also have everything in this document. You go to the top, msfconsole and vsftp, the exploits are right there in our document in GitHub. So let's go ahead and try that. We're using the Unreal exploit. Let's use the vsftp daemon exploit. Use exploit, tab, Unix, tab, IRC, tab, no, not IRC, correction, FTP, tab, vsftp _234 backdoor. Perfect. Again, let's take a look at the options. Okay, I just realized a typo in my notes, but by the time you see it, it shouldn't matter. Again, we have to set an R host value. It already has a payload set for us, so we're not going to worry about that. But it does still require that we set our R hosts values. So let's set that now. Set R hosts, and again, it's that same IP address, 192.168.56.101. Okay. Show options. And everything that is required has been set. So that's all that's left for us to do is to try and exploit it again. Okay, didn't work. but we're going to try it again. And this time it actually looks like it worked. And again, this is typical. Sometimes you have to try and try and try for that exploit to be realized. This is a really good example of that. The first time I tried it, a session failed to get created. Just said try again, and it looks like I have a command shell session set up. So again, who am I? And it says I am root, which is, of course, pretty cool. So we've been able to create a second session. We're going to leave this one running. We're going to take a look at some more exploits in a sec.